Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Hi, folks. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. Well, now that midterms are over, let's see if this website, I won't use their name because it'll set off the algorithm, will stop pushing down on channels like mine and others that are conservative people. From Fox News, balance of power. What's next for the uncalled Senate races in Arizona, Nevada, Alaska, and Georgia? The two top winners in the Alaska Senate race have over 40%. And the Democrat, who's third, they might have a runoff. I'm not sure how Alaska works since they have ranked choice voting, which really sucks. I was an advocate for it at one time years ago, but not anymore. It's going to be an R. It's going to be a Republican. So that's going to give the Republicans 49 to 48. They only need 2 out of the remaining 3, which is a lot. But we'll go into that later. What I really want to talk about is all of a sudden there's this mindset that the Republicans really lost and we should get rid of leadership like Trump and others. It's like I'm in a Super Bowl and I'm a coach. And my team is big favorite, 21-point favorite in the Super Bowl. But we only win by 3. We still become the champions. We still win the Super Bowl. We still get the ring. And forever will be that team will be a Super Bowl winner. But right after that, the owner of the team starts questioning the judgment of the coach who brought them through the season and won the game, but not as much as they thought they were going to win by. How asinine is that scenario? Well, this is no different. It's a realignment of the Democrat Party and a realignment of the Republican Party. The realignment of the Democrat Party, I think, is toxic, and it will ruin the party. The realignment in the Republican Party is getting rid of the old neocons like Mitch McConnell and all of them and replace them with new Republicans. And I'll even say it straight out. Mega America First Republicans. Well, there goes the algorithm all shot to hell, so this video will be shadow banned too. I just don't get it. I'm going to look at a map here in a minute, so don't, turn off the video because I'm ranting, but I mean, look at this. This is amazing to me. There are still 4 Senate seat races to call following Tuesday's midterms. Arizona, Nevada, Alaska, and Georgia. I believe it's the Nevada Senate seat that the Republicans will win. And being that the top 2 Republicans in the 3-way race in Alaska got 80-something%. So there's 2 right there. So that brings to 50 for Republicans, 48 for Democrats, which means the Republicans only have to pick up 1. I think they might lose Arizona. I'm not sure. Which brings it down to Georgia. I mean, it'll be 50 Republican, 49 Democrat, with a special election on December 6th, which is also my mother's birthday. And in Russia, it's St. Nicholas Day, so maybe that'll be a Christmas present from old St. Nick for the Republicans, but we'll see. My understanding is Herschel Walker picked up over $3 million in the first day after it was announced there'd be a runoff. And this is what it's going to be about. The one that really sticks in my craw more than anything else is Pennsylvania. I'm not putting Fetterman down because of his physical disabilities. But a large part of his brain is broken. It's not his fault. Did Trump pick Oz when he shouldn't have? Should have picked the other Republican instead? Maybe. But hindsight is 20/20. It always is. When you take a risk like that and you win, you look like the genius, like the hero. You take that risk and fail, you look like an idiot. I mean, both of those things can't be simultaneously true. Trump had over a 91%, even higher in some instances, depending on what information you get, people that he endorsed in the midterms. through governors, senators, and congressmen. 91% plus. Anybody gets 91% of anything is really good. Arizona and Nevada are continuing to count mail-in ballots, and that's part of the other problem. These mail-in ballots in some of these states, you should not. I live in upstate New York, so I'm behind enemy lines here. America has been basically walled off. Make a long story short, mail-in ballots are the problem. If you have an issue where you can't get to the polls, a specific issue, not the issue that I'm too damn lazy to get off my ass from the kitchen table and go down and vote. Mail-in voting helps Democrats disproportionately. In dense, high population areas, they're predominantly Democrat. Democrat operatives can knock on doors, have people fill out ballots. You can have 5 or 6 people hit an apartment complex and come out with 1,000 votes. It's the truth. You go out to the suburbs or the rural areas with 6 people, you will not get 1,000 ballots in a day. And there lies the disproportionate amount of votes taken from mail-ins. If you're sick, in the hospital, physically disabled, out of the country, out of the area for work, or whatever the reason, visiting family in Florida and you live in New York, you request a ballot. Not universal mail-out ballots, a ballot for you personally that you request. That's the way it's always been, up until COVID. Now, there's been some problems in the past, to be sure. It took a while to get the 2016 presidential election. It was 2:30 in the morning, roughly, when they finally said who won, and that was Trump. But you remember the election of Bush-Gore, where that went for days until the Supreme Court cut it off finally, and Bush got the electoral votes and squeaked by in a win? I don't know. These mail-in ballots are the issue. Per Arizona election law, mail-in ballots have to be received by the county election officials by 7 p.m. local time on election night. However, each of the ballots have to go through a signature verification process before actually being counted. And this is the other dirty little secret. This is done, obviously, with computer software verifying signatures to see how they match. And there's so many points, the computer software picks it up. But there's dials you can do for sensitivity. 0 being they all get through, and 10 being hardly any get through. Where you put that dial is what determines it, and that's what nobody's talked about. This is the largest factor contributing to the state's delay. Of course it is. Amplified by Maricopa County being one of the nation's largest voting jurisdictions with hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots returned. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Could take days for all the ballots to be processed. Richard Nixon, John Kennedy election in 1960, I was a very small boy, I was 4. They knew by midnight, 1 o'clock, one of the closest elections in U.S. history. And it's always been that way until these damn mail-in voting started coming in. So to blame Trump or, the new Republican Ron DeSantis, who I really like a lot personally and as a governor and as a Republican, he's done an amazing job in a basically purple state, and he won by 20 points. Didn't hurt that he had one of the worst candidates running for governor in the country. It sure as heck didn't hurt that he did a fantastic job during the hurricane. And it sure as heck he fought the woke crowd systematically over time and turned that state into a red one. We'll see if it lasts. But now Trump has to go. All the Republicans, of course, Democrats hate Trump anyway. Why do you think Democrats want Trump so badly? Excuse me, DeSantis so badly? because they know they have a better chance of beating him than Trump. Now, let's take a look at the Senate and congressional maps. First, we'll look at the Senate map. As you can see there, 48-48. Well, Alaska is already going to be, we already know it's going to be a Republican. They just haven't made it official. So they make it 49. So that means out of Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia, Republicans need 2 out of those 3. It looks pretty good in Nevada, frankly. I think that Laxalt will win it in the end, which gives the Republicans 50. And they need 1 more because of the Kamala Harris tiebreak vote. Are they going to make it in Arizona? I really don't know. But they say the mail-in votes that are coming in are mostly Republican. I don't know. Usually Republicans vote in person. I'm going to say that Mark Kelly will probably pull it off by the skin of his teeth. Now, that makes it 49 Democrats, 50 Republicans. And that leaves Georgia. Herschel Walker, close personal friend for decades of Donald Trump. Look how tight that is. Now, I'm not gonna take sides. I'm not gonna say Warnock's the worst in the world. I'm not gonna say Walker's the best in the world. I think everybody's already voiced their opinion. I think Walker's head and shoulders better just because he has personal heart. I think he gives a damn about the country more than Warnock does. Warnock's a grifter that'll do anything to stay in power and say anything. And that's true, by the way. That being said, it's going to come down to this. It's amazing to me. And if you remember, in Georgia during the special election when Warnock, and I forgot the other senator's name, in January of 2021, unfortunately, both the Democrats won, and that made a 50-50 tie. They weren't the greatest Republican candidates in the world, and I'll be perfectly frank, as a huge Trump supporter, I think he effed up. I kept calling the election in 2020 FRAUD. I think that brought down the voters in Georgia that were Republicans. Figured, why should I bother? It's not going to count anyway. And I believe he effed up. And I'm a huge Trump supporter and still am. He effed that one up. All he needed was 1 seat. But here we are anyway. All comes down to Georgia. It's amazing to me. We're going to have to see what happens. Now let's check the House. Now they say that the Republicans didn't win. I mean, look at the numbers here. 211 to 197. Seriously? How many does that leave? That leaves roughly 27. So that means 218 is the majority. As you can see, the Democrats flipped 4 seats. The Republicans flipped 16 seats. 4 times the number of seats the Democrats flipped. And they're saying the Republicans lost? If you remember, we'll say 3 or 4 weeks before the midterm elections, just when early voting was starting, and that's a ridiculous too. It was voting month now. I might go along with 2 things. 1, make Election Day a national holiday. And number 2 is the only early voting you're going to get is on Saturday and Sunday before Election Day. Not Monday, because they need that to organize things for the election itself. We have early voting here in New York. 2 days is enough plus Election Day. And make it a national holiday. That's more than enough. None of this election week or month crap anymore. But make a long story short, they only need 7 out of the 27 to take the House. So they're the football team that was supposed to win by 21 points, and they won by 3. You still win. But if you remember, about a month ago, all the polls were showing the Democrats are doing a little better than people thought. The Republicans still might win. It will be close. that all of a sudden all the polls showed the Republicans are going to have a red wave. And I believed it myself, but it didn't happen. I'm wondering if those polls are finagled. I'm wondering if they were finagled to push out Democrat votes. I don't know. It may sound like a conspiracy theory, but the last 5 or 6 years, anything is believable now. It's just amazing. So the Republicans did win, and they won the House of Representatives, and they're going to have committees, and we're going to see if the Republicans grow a set of balls and just take the crap from the January 6th committee and throw it out the window. No, that Steve Bannon contempt charge is ridiculous, and everybody else's legal problems, including President Trump's. The whole thing was a kangaroo court and it should be dissolved. But what are the Democrats going to do? January 3rd is the swearing in of the new Congress. They had the whole month of December and half of November to F this up. We're going to have to see. Committees about where COVID came from. Committees on why the DOJ is going after political enemies of the Democrats. Houses being raided, journalists, church people, the list goes on and on. Parents at school board meetings, lawful gun owners. The list is endless. We'll see what the Republicans do. Were they given a mandate, an overwhelming red wave? No. But they won. And that's all that matters. All that matters. So why are a lot of Republicans and all the Democrats who really lost saying that the Republicans really didn't win? Really? When my team kicked that field goal with 10 seconds left in the Super Bowl to win, the team that lost said, well, you really didn't win? Okay, come on. We all know that's absolute bull. Let's move on and let's do the work of the people and make sure that the damage that Democrats have done to the American people with the cooperation of the current president is called out. Committees on Hunter Biden. The list is so endless. I don't know where they're going to start. I believe Jim Jordan is going to be the head of the Judiciary Committee. That ought to be fun. He's a good man, actually. So we'll have to see. Is Kevin McCarthy blowing smoke up everybody's butt, saying he'll do what America First policies only? We'll have to see. I hate to believe politicians, but we're going to have to do it. And to leave it with this, the theme of this episode, of this video, no, the Republicans didn't lose. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.